Genitals!
For fuck's sake! I was fucking... You were waiting for that as well. The second I started...
I've been waiting for that for a week.
I hate you. I hate you so much. Okay, you've run out of genitals, you've run out of penis and vagina. What are you going to use next time? Because we're recording your episode directly after this.
I'll have to find out then. Which is obviously the best reason to go and for viewers to go and...
The best reason to go give you Corpse's video is to see what kind of genitals he shouts out. I hasten to add that I actually have my front door open at this point in time, so anyone who's walking outside can hear me.
That isn't a euphemism, by the way.
No.
We're talking about genitals. And yeah, I have my front door open.
No, that's actually... It's fucking hot. It's...
I can imagine the cats are just running around psychotically going, two doors must run in a circle.
It's been close. If Atlas sees an open door, she goes through it. So it's been a weird day for her. She also brought a playmate in earlier, and that's not the mouse we were talking about a second ago. That was me and Corpse talking about a mouse, not talking about a video. Yeah, she brought in a little white and tortoiseshell cat, and
she has a friend.
No.
Oh, okay.
Basically, they were fighting, and Atlas tried to run away, and the cat followed her until she saw me, and then fucked right off. It's the equivalent of going, Mum! Mum! We're in the middle of a fight, so you don't get hurt.
Oh, they're being mean to me. Why are they being mean? Because I tried to kill them.
That's basically how my life has been. And then there was the mouse, which I've already told you about.
We haven't told the viewers. Basically, the story is basically there was a mouse.
There was a mouse, and it was sort of yes and no to death. Because it was sort of...
Then you put it outside and it left.
And it left. I think it left.
There was a mouse, it left.
It left.
Shut
up.
That's the story.
You say that? Fuck you. It was way more interesting when I told it. You have this habit of co-opting my stories. Fuck you. Like, seriously.
My story's more interesting, that's why.
Prove it.
There's no more true, mind. But, you know.
They're not true, but they are more interesting. Okay. Fine. Okay, we should probably start the game.
Yeah. How are we doing?
This one. The one that you said that we were doing. Instead of Sims. So it was C14 dating. You decided first rather than Sims.
Yes.
That was your decision.
What are we doing in game? That's what I mean.
Oh.
Apparently we're yawning.
We're yawning. Oh, I can get behind that. I'm fucked up.
It turns out, by pure coincidence, neither of us have slept. So...
Yes. I think between us, we've slept 6 hours in the past 2 days. So we are just massively fucked. So, anyway, I held back a yawn, rocking on my heels. It was early morning. My stories are better than this, though. I hasten to add. So
it's still better than Nicole, which is stuff like, it was early morning, the sun had just come up and the earth was rotating. I got up out of my bed and moved my sheets to the side. Then I swung round and put my feet on the floor. Standing up, I walked across the carpet towards the door. I reached out and wrapped my hand around the door handle. Twisting it, I then pulled the door off. And
Department of Redundancy Department is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. It was early morning and all the students gathered around Augustine, who was briefing them on the duties. Again.
Oh yeah, they've got new students in, haven't they?
Oh, fuck yeah. One by one, the students nodded or asked questions. When the instructions finished, everyone scurried off to their assignments. Kyla was kind enough to summarise the speech for me.
When they say scurried off, I just imagine they're kind of like hooded cultists.
See, I was imagining like a horde of rats just turn the light on and they just go, "Scatter boys!"
Rat cultists.
Rat cultists, yes.
Anyway, my experience of rats is if you turn the light on, they just stare at you. Oh yeah, what are you going to do, mate?
I will admit,
get gangrene.
I will admit, I've never seen a rat.
I have. Wish I hadn't, but I have.
Never seen one. I've seen cockroaches, but never a rat.
Never seen a cockroach. Don't intend to.
Yeah, well, it depends on what countries you go to and the dives that you end up in. Well, I was when I was doing my geology degree. We ended up staying in multiple places around Tunisia. Turns out Tunisia has cockroaches.
Really big ones, I'd assume.
Moderate size. I mean, they're about as big as my thumb. So
Not that big actually for a cockroach.
no, they. I mean, it was a 4-star hotel. So with the toilet that didn't work. The toilet didn't work, so
it's a 4-star hotel. So you had a toilet, didn't work, but you had a toilet. So
exactly.
That's right there. Yeah, and you get your meals delivered to you in the form of wildlife. Maybe the cockroaches. That's another star. You got a roof. And a bed. The bed may or may not have wildlife in it, but it's still a bed. So that's your 4 stars.
Oh yeah, the best part was I was staying because we had roommates. I was staying with a girl who was the most squeamish person in the world. She slept all night with a hoodie done up around her face, up over her nose and mouth, with only her eyes poked out because she was so terrified of the cockroaches. It was just like
face huggers or something.
It was. Think about the most girly girl you can ever think of. I was sharing a room that night with that person.
The girliest girl I could think of wouldn't be in the building after that, is the thing. So,
well, she didn't really have a choice. She was in a foreign country on her own.
I'm going to the airport. Bye.
Oh, don't talk about the airport. Our flight was delayed and we had airport food, and I think everyone apart from me ended up getting massive food poisoning from the airport food. Because they massively they decided they were going to feed everybody who was delayed, and we were delayed so much they put us up into a hotel, and they fed us chicken sandwiches. Apparently my stomach is stronger than everyone else's. Mind you, everybody did get the squits apart from me that holiday. I say holiday, field trip technically. It was a holiday, but I got university credit for it.
You got to look at rocks in new and interesting places.
Yeah, it's so pretty there, and you can just see like all the rock formations. Sorry,
Well, I'm assuming they wouldn't go somewhere that's say covered in jungle, so you can see anything.
I've done most of my geology degree in England. What do you think England is? It's covered in fucking clay.
Yeah, actually, Ireland's quite good for seeing the rocks. Mainly because it got completely deforested, so that during it would have been around the Iron Age, so they could dig up all the gold. It's just literally right. Let's get all the gold, scour everything.
So what you're saying is lots of lovely rocks, not in the place they come from, but lots of lovely rocks.
Oh, the area around I think it's called Hungry Hill is really good because you got all these great big hills, which are obviously there used to be some kind of geological activity there because they've all got obvious strata lines and stuff at a 45-degree angle to the ground.
Yeah, I think
really cool.
I think most of the UK has some.
Yeah,
variant
this is
of
really
that.
stands out. It's mostly really dark rock with kind of very thin white lines between the different layers.
The place that I found the most obvious like geological thing was a place called Bude, I think, down in Cornwall. I didn't find it. It was one of my many field trips. By the way, if you want to go for a degree that gets you out of the house a lot and goes to interesting
Go
new
look at
places,
rocks.
go look at rocks. Geology's a great
Funny enough,
degree.
you don't get many rocks in your living room, so they have to send you around.
Yeah, and it's so much fun because if you've got a small group, and to be honest, if you're doing a geology degree, there's usually about 16 people there.
Plus, you get there's another thing of the degree. You get to use those things that break up the rocks. You know, the kind of the little revolving drum that goes meh.
Not allowed to use those in the UK generally.
Oh.
Because the places we go to do are triple SIs, so.
Well, these are really little ones that I've seen in the classroom. So.
Yeah, well, you can't do them in the field. What you can do is you can have, like, to test the hardness, you've got this, like, the massive hammer that just... I say hammer. It's basically a tube which you put on the rock and it goes dung, and it gives you a reading. So
it's quite a pneumatic hammer sort of thing. Sort
of like that, but it's just to test how hard the rocks are. Turns out most rocks are pretty fucking hard.
Yeah, let's do it on chalk, in which case, we've now just got a hole. We don't have a hammer anymore. We've just got a hole.
To the centre of the earth. Or until it hits granite.
Being around Dover, I have south coast of England and everything, fecking chalk. But going camping there, you pull up the pegs and you've got all this white stuff on the pegs because that's how much chalk there is.
Oh yeah,
It's just below the surface.
I live like above. I mean, the London chalk aquifer. I live where that's pretty close to the surface. So yeah, there's just scrape away like 2 foot of dirt, and you've just got chalk everywhere. It's just ridiculous. Trial pitting through that is fun. Because that used to be my job before teaching. I used to go out and dig holes and go, oh, that's rock there.
Turns out where I used to live in South Wales, because of all the industrial stuff that used to go on there. Yeah, turns out a lot of places around there, you're not actually meant to dig more than 3 inches down unless it's raining heavily, because the dust could fill your lungs with poison.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Been there. The best thing is where where you're trial pitting in a place that is so heavily polluted, you've actually got bands of black shit as you dig through it.
That must look really cool though when you get
it was quite fun.
And stuff, so.
And the best part was it's like the I guess the site owner who was trying to get approved for housing says, "Oh, you don't have to sample that bit." I'm like, "Yeah, I fucking do. That's my job. I'm supposed to be giving you an environmental survey. That's what I do."
No, only survey the clean bits.
Yeah, it doesn't really help because if I did survey the clean bits, it'd be fucking contaminated anyway. But
yeah, the clean bits are still filthy, but they're slightly less filthy.
It's just like, yeah, you know what you mean? This massively polluted bit. It's just like, oh, for fuck's sake! It just
You mean this bit of the ruins of this Victorian mill on it?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think you're going to get a particularly pure sample from here. I'm just saying.
No.
What have you found? Well, on the plus side, you might not die.
Yeah, a series of small walls, which is what they always find in those. You found
bricks.
Well, that's the problem with archaeology, is that if you find a cool thing, I mean, it's basically, what can you tell from this? I don't know. They used to tear it down so often that, it could be any number of buildings on the same place. So, yeah. Anyway, should probably game. We're just having one of those days where it's not going to get very far in the game, so...
And then there's a group that will need to organise the utensils.
What
utensils?
What utensils are we talking?
Utensils.
Got it. I'll see what I can do to help out. I never attended an archaeology-themed festival before.
Instead of have something like whack-a-mole on, you just dig a hole. They just give you a trowel. That's it.
Yeah.
There's not even anything else to do. They just give you a trowel. Not even a good trowel.
Define a good trowel.
One that can actually that actually do anything that, like, scraping stuff away. I'm thinking of one that bends when you try and scrape away dry stuff.
I've never met a trowel that bends.
Yeah, a shit trowel. That's the kind of trowel that does that.
It's
what do
just
you make it out
so
of?
Thin it's made out of tinfoil, is what you're saying.
What do you make it out of? Thin copper sheeting.
That's not even trowel. I mean, that's delicate work.
That'd be a terrible trowel.
That'd be a terrible trowel, yeah.
Or like a trowel-shaped prop. But, you're giving it to kids, still anything that can actually work. So.
True, because they might damage things.
Yeah.
And context is everything, apparently.
Context is everything. You're allowed to learn how to do archaeological stuff, as long as you don't touch anything. How do I learn? Okay.
I quickly glance to the side to give my cue. Let's have fun and let's make party. What?
Huh?
Exactly my thoughts.
I thought you spoke English. Let's make party. What did Melissa bribe you with? She owes me a beer. I did it because she asked nicely and breasts.
Mostly that last one.
She's taking advantage of your good nature, mate. You have to stand firm around pushy people like her.
I give him a shove. I'm not pushy, she says.
She says pushing
someone.
See what I mean?
Oh, that was a bad setup. Bad setup game. Be disappointed with yourself. Look ashamed.
Yeah. So I didn't actually recognise him for a second.
No, neither did I, because he's got his hair down.
It just suddenly turns up behind someone, grinning. It's kind of, hello, I'm a murderer.
I just love the fact that Kyla's expression is just like, he's got his hand on my ass.
No, we can. Well, to be fair, we can see where his prosthetic arm is, but we don't know that that's actually attached to his arm.
No.
So, where the rest of his arm is, nobody knows. What are we all loitering here for? Did we forget our duties? Not me. I'll be helping with the food preparations.
Oh, God.
I was translating the lecture for Melissa. I'll leave the cave. I'll leave for the cave now. I was going to ask what all the supplies for the face painting are. That is why I'm here, in the lab and ready for you.
And what will you be doing, Hendrik, apart from being a smug little ass?
As little as possible. Once I finish labelling all of the rocks in the display, I carry it upstairs. I'll be overseeing things.
Cool.
And yourself? I just imagine he's labelled them just rock.
Rock one. Well, no. What he'll be doing is, because it's Hendrik, he'll be labelling them with exactly what they are and how they can be used as a pun.
Oh, God, if he's actually written out a board with descriptions, it'll just mostly be in pun form to the point where it's indecipherable.
Yeah, he's that person when you're doing an archaeological dig that you fucking hate because he's trying to make jokes in the written notes and you can't analyse shit. We
can, because there's an entire layer of it, but you know.
Oh, we're going along with Hendrik because he's the one that I think we have the most.
Do you want to go after the girls then?
Not really.
Okay.
Because I don't think we can because we didn't sleep with one of them. I mean, share
true.
a bed.
I just like so it's the idea of the Elmo voice. Whilst,
No. No.
How much detail they go into the lovemaking scene.
I don't think they do really love making scenes. I think this is more
of a, and then they kissed.
And then they kissed.
Off screen.
Yeah, well,
what damn, what's it called now? The fucking famous one. Katawaya Shosha? I can't never bloody remember.
Oh, Katawa Show? Something like that.
Translates to something like the disabled girls. So.
Oh, yeah.
It's being PC with the description of the translation. But that one, I'm just imagine some of the scenes in that done entirely in Elmo voice. The moans turn into
Yeah, I'm not even sure that we can date him anyway. One, because he's a teacher.
He'll get him fired instantly.
Yeah, basically. Also, I don't think what's it? Diligence? No, it's not diligence. He's whatever Inquire is, is high enough. So we're probably playing through this to not see that.
Oh, whatever.
I don't think it matters.
As long as you don't get locked in a box because we refuse to phone the police.
What game are you channeling there?
Yeah, I don't know. The one where as soon as someone found out we're in trouble, the first thing they did was phone the police.
Yes.
And everything was fine.
Yeah, I'd like to help you out, Hendrik. It's not too much trouble.
What's not? I'll meet you upstairs. Yeah.
He's got some class geology puns for somebody whose English isn't his first language.
True.
I mean,
and he's pretty damn fluent now.
He is, but Gart's pretty damn fluent, and he doesn't pun that often. And sorry, Gart's a mutual friend of ours who is actually, in fact, German.
Yeah, but Gart's just a figment of your imagination.
Why are you
discussed this previously?
Yeah, but
he doesn't actually exist. You just think he does.
So why do you talk to him?
The rest of us just humour you for a bit.
It's been a long fucking bit.
Yeah.
How long have we known each other? Like 2 years?
More or less.
Oh, God.
Might be longer than that.
I think it is.
In fact, it is longer than that.
It is longer than that.
Yeah.
I think oh, God. While Hendrik showed you to the face paint supplies, I trooped up to the second floor and surveyed the layout.
Yep, that's a table.
Yep, all the folding tables. Those aren't folding tables.
Those are the antithesis of folding tables.
Those are the unfolding tables.
I
don't suppose I don't think the antithesis of folding tables is unfolding tables. It's.
That'd be a non-folding chair. Down to the sort of folding table.
Or well, what's the opposite of table?
Sky.
Yeah, basically.
An unfolded cloud.
Yeah, there you go. All the folding tables are set up with trays containing various rocks placed in neat fashion with puns on the names. I noticed a rectangular stack of the little index cards. The very top had printed words in list. Sandstone. Hang on. Sandstone.
It's in 3 languages.
Maybe.
You see.
Curious.
I'm guessing they assume that there's a lot of, multilingual stuff going on.
Oh, right. Well, this one I do know because that is in 3 languages, yes.
Limestone.
Kalksten and calcaire.
Limestone.
Limestone.
Limestone cowboy.
No. Curious, I picked up and glanced at the paper underneath, which read calcaire, calkstein, limestone. I guessed I had to match the labels to the corresponding stones. I can do this!
So if it's vet, we can get started now.
Cool.
Looks like you already did. It's not really getting started, it's mainly kind of working out what the thing is.
Yeah, what the rock is. Though, to be fair, if I handed, like a fucking archaeologist a stack of papers with different rocks on, they're not going to have a fucking clue about half of them.
They'd probably do better than most people, though,
better than
just
most
because they spend a
people.
lot of time digging. So,
but still, depends on how many rocks I suppose she has, and how many of them are just like, this is basalt, this is granite.
How many of them are just poop?
How many of them are just poop? All of them. No, wait, they're volcano poop, except for the ones that aren't
volcano poop.
Except for the ones that aren't volcano poop.
They're volcano poop, apart from the ones that aren't. That's helpful.
Well, some of them are broken down volcano poop, and some of them are volcano poop that's been under heat and pressure.
Yeah.
It's how rocks work.
Constipation. That's...
Yes. Yes. Metamorphic rocks are constipated volcanoes. Okay.
Does that make a pyroclastic flow diarrhea?
Yes. Yes, it does. Although wouldn't lava be diarrhea and a pyroclastic flow be that?
No, it's not really fast enough to be diarrhea.
Depends which volcanoes you're on.
Diarrhea's usually it's usually pretty damn quick, is the thing, and constant. So
yeah,
pyroclastic flows aren't that constant, though, are they? They just kind of happen.
Yeah, but they're also a bit chunky.
That's true. You can get fairly kind of chunky, drippy diarrhea, though, rather than fully liquidy.
True.
This is a very strange conversation.
It is. I was just thinking that. Anyway, I split the cards in half and we placed the labels next to the exhibited rocks. Many I was already familiar with: slate, quartz, conglomerate. I paused at dolomite and hesitantly weighed the paper between some of the unnamed rocks.
It's the vantage one to your right.
Thank you. Between the two of us, we finished in record time. I grinned at our fully prepared exhibit. That was a cakewalk.
Keg fuck?
He repeated the unfamiliar...
Cake fuck.
Yeah, repeated the unfamiliar...
Cake fuck. Is that an American term?
Means it was a super easy task. It originated from a dance called the Cakewalk. I pantomimed holding an umbrella and did a few practice struts. Finished it with a flourished 10. Of course, she's a dancer. Yep. And yes, there was a cake involved.
I know I'd be more inclined to take an intro into waltzes, of course, if it included a cake.
Waltzing is for squares, literally.
No, that's square dancing. Nah.
You probably love the modern cakewalks.
Nah.
I only demonstrated one version. There's a more open and simpler carnival type. It's basically a cross between raffle tickets and musical chairs. What?
Eh?
You buy a ticket and go round a circle of squares with numbers on them. When the music stops, the MC announces a number, and if it matches the one you're standing on, you get a cake. Really?
That sounds weird and pointless, but there is cake.
Yeah, it's basically...
Then again, I found one of the best places to get cake, right, are kind of the stalls and stuff that pop up around Pride, around LGBT Pride stuff. Yeah. People are handing out free cake. Free cake that would be layered and coloured, usually in the rainbow.
Of course, yeah.
The various flags. Like the one for the local trans community had quite a lot of cake. And it looked quite nice as well, because it was all Ed, and you got free stickers as well. So that's the most important thing with Pride: free cake and stickers.
Yes.
I don't really care what's on the sticker. It's a sticker.
Yeah, we don't have a Pride festival where I live. I should go to the one in London at some point.
What do you just have? You just have a feeling kind of shitty festival.
Well, no, we actually have a carnival. We have like the world's biggest. Yeah, we do the world's biggest one-day carnival where I live. So we do actually have a carnival, but we just don't have a Pride festival. So
there's no point. It's just a slight despondency festival instead.
Well, you know where I live, so that's sort of every day.
It's just the impression there's some kind of grinding grey cloud permanently over the city, just pushing people down slightly.
Yes, that's basically it. I mean, it's comparable where I used to live, Stoke-on-Trent.
Whereas around here, look out the side and it's just buildings fire rainbows at you. It's just,
Yeah, I feel that way about anywhere else sometimes.
People dancing in the streets, birds everywhere.
Yeah, spontaneous songs.
Yeah. There's usually at least, to be honest, it plays hob with the traffic. All these large scale musical numbers that just suddenly break out in the street. But, no one minds because they can just get out of the car and join in, and the local businesses are aware of it. So
Yeah, they might be aware of it, but it still causes.
It does cause problems. It could be worse. Though. I mean, public transport's pretty good, so it kind of equals out.
Yeah, fair enough. And also the public transport, you get free built-in entertainment. Because when, bad...
It helps with the tourist industry as well.
Yeah. Anyway, you get a cake. Best part is there's usually multiple cakes, so there's always a good chance of winning something.
There's more than one cake?
No!
I assume there are about 4 or 5 tiny cakes.
I
when
assume
you go to Tesco and buy a chocolate cake and it says it serves 6 people, presumably 6 very small people you don't like.
But the thing is, they have no bearing on serving sizes compared to massive cakes, which also say serve 6 people, and then you get those tiny little sheet ones that say serve 6 people, and it's just
I like the kind of tray bake kind of things you get which are meant for taking into, for work parties and stuff, which serve about 50 people.
I cannot stand them.
1 inch by 1 inch.
Yeah, those just not good cakes. Oh.
But one of the best things is, they're not good cakes, which means no one eats them, but they are still chocolate, and someone has to dispose of them, and it's usually me. Those previous places I've worked, we've kind of had all the meeting rooms on our corridor, and we'd have to sort out the food for the meeting rooms, and we knew roughly how many people were there and what they were eating, and the money.
And the minute they left the room,
oh good God, the amount of free crisps and sausage rolls I've had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I work in a school. The amount of birthdays there are obviously 30, but the amount of cake that gets brought into school.
We weren't allowed to do that. There was just one cake in the classroom, which was one made out of cardboard that was kept in a cupboard, and that was the one that was basically shared.
Oh no, we had a spectacular cakes. There was a Minecraft cake, professionally made, and there was a Minion cake that had cream and fruit and all sorts of things in it. It was just that this is a school. You don't want the really good cakes for school.
Hey,
no, he'll get another one for his birthday. What?
So it's a bit loud.
I know, and it's just
we just have to accept our cardboard cake that we just blew up the candles on, and didn't get to eat any of it because it was cardboard and it went back in the cupboard.
It's depressing, isn't it?
In our big Victorian brownstone building that when it rained went even darker, with the big iron bars outside that made it look like a prison, and not a single speck of greenery because it was all kind of a concrete playground apart from the school garden, which no one was allowed in.
Well, that still holds true, to be fair.
Bastards.
No,
you're
not
allowed.
allowed.
You could see through the gate because it was just it was 9 gates. You could see through to the pond and the lawn and all the trees and flowers.
I can just imagine you just going, holding onto the bars, going. Oh.
It's like the secret garden, but instead of having a magical doorway, there's just an arsehole. You can look, but you can't go in.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to prattle. says Corpse.
You've been subjected to my little spiels before, so you can consider us even.
Oh, it's rare that I get to talk about dance in general. Most of the discussions is at my local Lindy Hop community, or when I travel to competitions.
Travel? Even out of California? There's an out of California? Dun, dun, dun.
No, for dancing, no, it's always been within my state.
Have you ever visited other parts of the States?
God, that would be really depressing, having never gone out of your state. I've been to Arizona and Texas to see extended family. Haven't seen the North or East Coast.
North is basically trees and bears, from what I understand.
Something like that, I think. I mean, I spent most... Hang on. I've got to do the never eat shredded wheat. I spent most of my time on the West Coast, I'll be honest. Why, thinking of visiting someday?
Perhaps. I've always wanted to go. I've already travelled across Europe and visited Africa. I'd love to fly to New York, or maybe see the Grand Canyon.
No!
Or be a road trip, since there's much I'd want to see. Of course he'd want to go see the Grand Canyon.
Of course he would. I want to go see the Grand Canyon.
He'd probably orgasm when he sees it.
As a geologist, yes, that's true.
Yeah. Some friends of mine went to see the Grand Canyon. They decided that, it's a really hot state and everything, so, we'll just go out. Oh, it's snowing. It's really cloudy when we get here. And oh my God, that's a cliff edge. That's how we went.
It's scary, huh?
Yeah.
Hendrik, are you up there?
Yes, we need something. Peanuts.
No.
My God, she's wearing so practical.
Never. I was going to ask if you set up the Atlatl station already.
Atlatl. Yeah, I thought that'd be your department, Rose.
My job is to make sure everyone is there doing their jobs. Ciao. What?
Ciao.
Ciao.
I fucking know.
I don't know. Rosemary vanished before Hendrik could question her duties further. He shook his head before turning to me.
I'll see you in a bit, Melissa. Since we're finished here, you can ask Rosemary what else needs to be done.
Maybe I can help Rosemary with her duties. After Hendrik departed, I decided to double-check the cards. I guess they could always use an extra hand in the kitchen. Festival time. Where should I go?
Enter the museum.
Yeah, I'm going to enter the museum because Hendrik's going to be there. And, if we're going to get any payoff, it's going to be Hendrik. Inside, I could see individuals and small groups wandering through the tiny museum. Many stopped to stare at the Neanderthal remains before concluding their tour. Upstairs, I heard voices and a few giggling children.
You're looking at a glass case going, Homo erectus.
Oh, curious, I headed to the second floor, greeted by the people examining rocks. The majority clustered around the obviously shiny and glittery ones.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this, and this goes
I like
back
the fact
to...
you've interrupted me for this, okay.
Oh, so it goes back to a series we did ages ago, but I did go somewhere that... A lot of geological stuff, because a lot of caves and that sort of thing. It's the Heights of Abraham in Matlock, Bath, which is a big ass stone thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and part of the gift shop they had a pyrite heart. If it wasn't for the fact it cost an astronomically large amount of money, I would have immediately bought it.
For those of you that are not aware, Pyrite Heart was a game that we hated.
Yeah.
That was even worse than Nicole.
It's a choice of being a bitch you had a choice of being bitchy or being someone's bitch. Those are the two options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if it made geology more accessible to people and shiny things never hurt.
Except swords.
Hendrik was explaining something to a few visitors. When he finished, he politely excused himself and greeted me cheerfully.
You're back. We just went outside and came back in.
Yeah.
I added more to the collection after you left, so feel free to look around.
Nice. Where did the extra trees come from?
Rock storage. I had a few spares in the truck. Truck? You never know when you'll need an... Oh, God. An amphibolite on short notice.
Well done! That sounded really patronising, but I was wondering if you were going to manage it. It's funny you should mention about rock storage, because in my
rock storage cupboard.
A level, when I did geology A level, we had a really good geology department actually.
Our
Because
geology department consisted of one small cupboard.
oh no, we had things, but they were transferring all the science departments upstairs, and they couldn't move the geology department
God,
because
I can imagine,
because they'd have to reinforce structurally the fucking floor because of all the rock collection. So
I do remember seeing my school's old rock collection because it was in. Because my school's a fairly old building. We were just helping move some stuff around. So we went down onto one of the older storage bits, which were kind of half underneath. They were kind of half underground because it was on a hill. So and seeing all these kind of 1950s wooden rock sample drawers and everything.
yeah, those are the best.
Just rack upon rack of them. And then all the incredibly old stuffed animals on shelves staring.
Those are creepy.
And then it was just blackboard rubbers, just hundreds of them, because no one needs that many.
No one needs that many. Anyway, let me get this straight. Every single piece here is something you collected.
Yeah, it's almost like I've been places in a van. All of it. Some for presents from colleagues who went on faraway excursions, but most I've obtained myself.
He directed me to one of the trays.
Like right here, this talc is from Morocco, along with this, selenite.
Yep. What were you doing in Morocco? Geology!
Looking for rocks, you pillock. Surveying for oil shale deposits. Energy company job. Money's good, but Indiana prefer the archaeological site.
I can understand that.
And this halite over here.
Halite. Halite is basically salt.
Okay.
It's one of those rocks that if you're not sure, and if you're not sure about halite, you're not a geologist. You have to put it to your tongue, and it's the one that tastes salty. So.
All right.
For every rock Hendrik identified, there was a story or a location tied to it. Whenever he finished... Well, yeah, that's how...
Yeah, because there's a location tied to every rock.
I've actually got a fossil, because I'm a geologist. It's a white oolitic limestone, and it's got a bivalve in it, it's like a clam. But it's got a clam fossil, but it's the white shale, but it's also pink. The actual bivalve in it is pink.
That sounds really cool.
Really cool. And it was just like, oh, I'm fucking taking that.
Well, there's
I know I'm not supposed to because it's a triple SI, but I'm taking that.
There's a lovely medieval church. You bastard. There's a lovely medieval church.
I'm joking. It was
they've got
a quarry.
Big bit in front of the altar, which I don't know the actual stone, but it's kind of a pinkish red stone with loads of white tiny fossils in it.
Yes, though you're describing something that I think I know where that comes from.
The ground.
It's gone. No, and I was joking. It actually came from a quarry.
Okay.
So
I've got a few bits and pieces. I've got an ammonite and a couple of shark's teeth and stuff like that.
Oh God. When people find out I'm a geologist, they tend to give me presents that are related to rocks. So instead of giving me something like particularly,
Here's some quartz.
Yeah, basically.
Here's some quartz. Oh, good. I've never seen that.
It just reminds me of the woman that says, "Oh, I'm so into geology. It's so cool." She gave me a polished ammonite, and I'm just like, cut in half, and it's just like, thank you. It's beautiful. But I kind of would have rather seen what it came in.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, that's great. What do we know about it? Oh, nothing, because I took it out of situ. So,
yeah.
Okay. Fine.
So basically, she was kind of like a Victorian antiquarian.
Yeah.
Kind of, I found this medieval pottery. Oh, great.
Where?
Where'd you get it? Oh, Fitson Field.
Exactly. Yeah. Basically like that, and it was just like, oh.
We found some Anglo-Saxon stuff, but we're not interested in that, so we just bulldozed it because it comes after Rome, but before the Renaissance, so it doesn't count.
Oh, that annoys me so much. There's a reason why it's called the Dark Ages. We have no information about it.
People kept fucking bulldozing it. That's fucking why.
Yeah. Well, not only that, it's because it didn't. They didn't write anything down.
They weren't as obsessed with record keeping as the Romans.
Yeah. That's why. I mean, that's why people
Romans
say it's the Dark Ages.
Everything ridiculous. The Romans were obsessive with their record keeping.
Oh, yeah, they were.
It was ridiculous.
Yes, it was fucking nightmare. I mean, like I say, I'm listening to the British History podcast, and we've got on to the Dark Ages now. At least I have, because they're way ahead of me. But it's just like, that he's just like, well, this is what we think happened, but we don't know. And this is what you expect to be like, because everybody likes the Romans. But the only reason why they don't know about why they think that the Britons were primitive is because the Romans tried to paint them that way. Yeah. And Romans have obsessively good record keeping.
Yeah, Romans write down a hell of a lot, but a lot of their histories and stuff is massively biased and politicised and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Because for one thing, they had to convince the people of Rome that it was a good thing they were conquering everything. Because obviously everyone else is barbarian and uncivilized and they eat their own babies.
Yeah.
So we have to go now and put a stop to that by conquering them and taking all their resources. I mean, bringing civilization and taxes.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, for fuck's sake. It's just depressing at how many people believe that the Dark Ages were this time of...
Well, it's not even the accepted term in the community anymore. Migration era would be the nearest.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of, migrations of people. Because weirdly enough, when a big empire collapses...
Yeah, like a flan in a cupboard.
Stuff shuffles about.
Yeah, people just go, oh, fuck this for a laugh. There's nothing keeping me here anymore.
Yeah.
And, you
Could stay here, but those people might set me on fire.
I mean, there's just so much we need to know, but everybody keeps on bulldozing our history. And being British, we have a fuck ton of history.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm depressed now. Anyway, for every rock Hendrik identified, there was a story location. Whenever he finished, he would grin at me with such excitement and I had such passion I couldn't help but ask another question. When I noticed a few people waiting nearby, looks like they had burning questions, I eased myself out of the conversation. I guess I took up more of his time than I thought. I think we should probably end it there.
Oh, okay.
Because we've been talking...
Ease out.
We've been talking... In fact, this might be a we might have to split this one in half because we've been talking a lot today. We need to be tired doing this more often.
Well, so we can talk complete irrelevant bollocks.
Well, it's not irrelevant though, considering what the game is. I mean, like I've said, I think this game is probably perfect for us because it hits both of our
You're a rock nerd. I'm a history nerd.
Yeah, so it hits both of our kind of things that we know about. So it hits our story centres. So.
Talking about history nerd in the Dark Ages. Within arm's reach, I've got a copy of the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle. So just kind of illustrates your point quite nicely.
Well, I will point out I do have like my geology textbooks. I say textbooks. They've got lots of pictures.
Mostly pictures, yeah.
Mostly pictures
of rocks.
I'll be honest. It's really difficult to know what you're looking at unless you've got an image.
Well, yeah. How do you describe a different kind of rock? It's actually quite difficult.
Yeah, I mean...
You kind of get a vague idea, so it kind of... You might be able to put it in the
That's why you have to have microscope thins.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there are some minerals that, if looking at them, are just like, they're identical, but you have to look at the microscope and then use polarizing filters to... I mean, there are some things that if you look at them under a microscope, under a polarizing filter, they've got... A white mineral just has these beautiful patterns in it that are particular for different minerals. It's just like, oh, it's so cool. And there's like quartz goes black when it goes under a polarizing filter and stuff like that. It's really cool to look at. And I recommend if you get an opportunity, go play with a polarizing microscope and rock slides. They're fun. Anyway.
Get the opportunity, go play with rocks.
Yeah, basically, but good rocks.
You could try and practice flint knapping, which is basically getting two rocks and banging them together.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a very skilled form of that, but... It's a more fun way of describing it.
It's a skilled form of banging rocks together.
What have you been doing in your educational trip? Well, we sat down and banged some rocks together. What?
I think you described most of my field trips with my 5 and 6 year olds.
No. Oh, right. I thought you meant when you're doing your geology stuff.
Oh no, that was a lot more sitting in the foyer of a place singing in the middle of nowhere, singing "We Will Rock You" as a group. That was a lot more of that and a lot less banging rocks together. I will admit, most of the field trips, whilst we did do work, most of it was just taking the piss out of each other and wandering around with walkie-talkies and playing pranks. Because one of the best things I heard, it wasn't me, but I heard it over the walkie-talkie, is just like, Dave, what's in these sandwiches? is this fucking washing up liquid? It's the last day, so it didn't matter because they were going home to eat. But yes, they'd made them washing up liquid sandwiches. It's just, yes. But yes, that was basically the level that we were at uni.
You put soap flakes inside the tea bags.
Oh. I'm going to use that. Anyway, we were going. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.